allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Tootie.
Yep.
First item on our agenda this afternoon is approval of the regular meeting minutes from March 20th, 2023. I take it that everyone's had a chance to look those over the weekend.
Yep.
I'll accept a motion.
I make a motion.
I'll second.
Motion by second. Motion by Clayton, second by Gina. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Next is approval and ratification of bills in the same vein. We've had these a few days now, so if there's not any questions, I'll entertain a motion. Billy, second.
Oh, I've got a question.
Okay.
Why is the dog pound, why is that so much? 28,000, I believe it was, the shelter?
We had not been receiving those bills, Clayton, and they were, I think, about 3 months' worth of bills.
Oh, good,
Yeah.
good, thank you.
Yeah.
I was beginning to get worried.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anybody else? Any questions? Got a motion on the table by Billy, second by
second it.
Clayton. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Okay, we have a public hearing for RZ-23-114 located at 1000 Cave Mill Road. Owner and applicant Nancy Hack requests to change from R2, single family, medium density, to EX1, exclusive use. So you want to come up, Nancy?
Good evening.
Hello.
Hey, Nancy.
Good evening.
Okay, so your family or group wants to hold a meeting, or family gathering, or celebration, event of some sort, and who's going to host it? That's the question. This day and time, we all look to someone else or another place. We start calling around and we're surprised by it's all booked up, nothing available. Have you had that experience? I know I haven't personally, but those in my family have. And surprisingly, sometimes they're the book out as long as a year or longer for some places. And dates, important dates for holidays or special dates like June for weddings and such. So we all know that sometimes it's a challenge. And why is this? We know the answer is at least twofold. The popularity of people demanding or having a desire to book venues is on the rise, increasing each year. And the venues that are out there are few and far between, getting a little further away from our immediate area. Yes, we do have some very nice ones, but like I said, they're booked up, and a lot of them are larger than what some people would require, and it really doesn't meet their need. So it results in fewer options for the general public in our area. So thus, my request for the Leitchfield City Council to grant a map amendment for my property located at 1000 Cave Mill Road, Leitchfield, Kentucky. As you are aware, last year, Planning and Zoning denied 3 requests for a zone change to this property without a single objection, I might say, from property owners. The reason given for this denial was that it did not follow or comply with the City of Leitchfield comprehensive plan. So after the first denial, I do not have a computer at home. After 33 years working in the school system, I was tired of computers. So I just had my phone. So I did look at the comprehensive plan on my phone, but to be honest with you, after about 45 minutes of turning and twisting, I really did not read it very thoroughly. And really couldn't make a whole lot of it out. It looked kind of a typical cut and paste to me. I don't know that that was the case, but I've seen a lot of similar plans. Been involved with several of them, very similar over the years myself. So anyway, after the third denial, I decided that I was going to actually get a hard copy and look at it eyeball to paper and study it thoroughly, which I did. And I was really taken aback, quite honestly. Here it is, dated April 2015. 8 years. 8 years. Okay, I start. Of course, I know when you do a study, you can't get dates, yesterday dates. You've got to go back. It's got to be a few years from the past. I understand that. But a lot of these dates were like 2007, 2008. These are just really, I don't know if y'all have looked at it recently, but I would suggest that you might want to take another look. And I don't know if it's been updated, but on one of these pages, and I've got it written down, it's by statute, it's got to be reviewed every 5 years. I don't know if you're aware of it, but just a note. But it is to be by statute reviewed. Also says it should be a continual process, updated. But anyway, on page 3, very beginning, and I know you all don't have a copy of it, and I didn't have means to make copies for you, and I apologize. It says this study was the first step towards completion on the comprehensive plan update. The City of Leitchfield comprehensive plan includes the housing plan, transportation plan, community facilities plan, and so on. So if this is the first step to the comprehensive plan update, where's the update? I did not see one, so maybe it's somewhere else. Maybe. I'm sure it is somewhere. I just wonder if any update's been done since April 2015. Do any of you know? Is Tyler here?
Yes.
Okay, there has been an update?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, good. I'm glad to know that.
The comprehensive plan, what happens is the zoning ordinance, anything that changes is it's noted as a revision inside the actual ordinance.
Inside this plan?
Not the comprehensive plan, it's noted in the ordinance. Whatever was changed or amended in the ordinance, underneath of it, it'll say revised, what month and when.
Oh, okay. All right. Thank you. All right. I noticed many times throughout the 57 pages, it mentions that flexibility, periodic review, citizen input, maximize public and private investment, encourage economic development, etc., the need to meet the needs of the community, things of that nature is mentioned numerous times, which is good. It should, I mean, that's excellent. And I hope that we can document that's being done and will continue to be done in our community. As a resident of the city of Leitchfield, that's what I'm hoping to see continue and improve upon with this council. As I read through this word for word, I see nothing that could be viewed as that property being non-compliant with this plan, period. And I challenge anyone to find anything in this plan. If they find it, I'd like to discuss it with them. I don't see it in this plan that I was told the reason it was denied. So, in closing, I repeat my request for a map amendment at 1000 Cave Mill Road, Leitchfield, Kentucky, based that it meets the needs, the necessary requirements, and/or exceptions to do so. Notably, Part A, that the existing zoning classification given to the property is inappropriate and the proposed zoning classification is appropriate. Thank you for your time, attention, and consideration to this matter.
Thank you, Nancy.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you, Nancy.
So, is there any, Tyler, Earlene, do you guys have anything?
First off, does anybody have any questions?
For Ms. Hack?
Yes, for Ms. Hack. Does anybody have any questions for Ms. Hack?
Ms. Hack, are you asking for a zoning map amendment now? I thought it was exclusive use. On this time.
Yes, please, so it'll pick up Tyler.
So she didn't request exclusive or a conditional use. She requested a zone map amendment to exclusive use,
Okay.
which was just amended in the ordinance as part of the updates that we did last year.
Under the new exclusive use that
Yes.
you adopted? Okay.
And that should be in the packet explaining what exclusive use is and how the process to apply for it. You all should have a copy of that up there.
Does anyone have any questions for Earlene or Tyler or Ms. Hack?
I have a few more questions. Good. Ms. Hack, under the material we got, the exclusive use you're asking for, is this lined up with the
For an
beauty?
event venue,
Huh?
an event venue.
Okay. Because the material that we had, it indicated for beauty shops, gift shops, school, community center, daycare, professional services, personal services.
That was B1.
That was under the B1. but
That was
that's
under the B1 tower,
Yeah.
or what I read, Denny, was under the B1.
Yeah, but
Be easier just to do it this way. So for exclusive use, if you'll notice, you've got in there, there should be a section that talks about the R2 zone, which is what the property currently is. And in that, you can see that there's certain requirements, certain allowances that can be done. Every zone in our ordinance has this sheet. So exclusive use, which is the newest zone that we just added, in order to apply for that zone change,
Excuse me,
yes,
where is this? Is it
It
in our
would-
packet?
Yes,
Because,
the exclusive use zone ordinance he's talking about, it's one,
Yes.
153.
EX-1 is what it would be, and then exclusive use.
Terry, it looks like this.
It's after the KRS. 153.141.
Okay. Okay.
All right. So if anybody was applying for, say, a C1 highway commercial, whatever their zone is, and they apply for that, that C1 is already laid out, what's permitted and what's not. Under exclusive use, the applicant requests what they want in that zone. So the request was made, let me get my papers out here, for the current home occupations listed under definition. They requested that without the requirement of being a resident at the property. And then they requested out of the neighborhood business district, they requested for beauty shops and barber shops, gift shops and antique shops, schools and associated facilities, community center, daycare facility, professional office, and personal service. All that was requested under this exclusive use application. So it took sections out of the neighborhood business district and omitted the rest of it. So it's not the complete list. So it would have taken out nursing and rest homes, grocery stores, restaurants, all those things that could be permitted under a B1. They did not request those. So that's what was requested. And then, so basically, the property, when we went through all this, it said the applicant would like to rezone their property to exclusive use due to the fact that the structure cannot be sold as a residence because it does not have the required facilities. This request would allow the owner to sell the property with certain exclusive use set within and approved by the planning commission. That was the reason for the request. In the site inspection, the property is currently a vacant building, concrete parking lot, providing ample off-street parking and access off of Paradise Lane, which is a private paved street. The building was previously a church and contains no bathtub or shower, no washer dryer hookups, and no kitchen facilities, and it's 2,240 square feet. So, under the administrator's report, let's see. So the property is currently zoned R2, and the structure erected upon the property was originally built as a church, which is permitted use in this district. The structure does not contain required utilities, is considered a residence. The applicant stated that in addition to weekly services, church buildings often host events such as weddings, receptions, birthday parties, weddings or baby showers, etc. If the owner is forced to implement the required facilities for residential occupancy, it would create a hardship due to the cost of renovations as the additional investment would not allow for the property to yield a reasonable return. Therefore, the applicant is requesting that the property be changed to the exclusive use zone with the following conditions be considered. So like I said earlier, the owner of the property would be permitted primary uses in the B1 district by ordinance number 1, 2, 4, 5, 10, 11, and 12, which is the ones that I read off. And then requesting to permit the use of home occupations as defined in our ordinance with the exclusion of residential occupancy. So after the hearing with the Planning Commission, this is their findings. The Leitchfield Planning Commission states that Nancy Hack filed a request to change the current zone of the property she owns at 1000 Cave Mill Road, Leitchfield, Kentucky, from R2 single family to exclusive use. Copy of the application is attached and incorporated by reference. After hearing evidence, the Leitchfield Planning Commission makes the recommendation that the application be denied because it does not reach the standard of approval required by KRS 100.213, and the application does not satisfy Article 3.8.15 exclusive use zone. Zoning Ordinance 3.8.15B specifically states that activities of properties placed in an exclusive use zone are those which are not capable of a ready classification such as residential, commercial, industrial, public, or agriculture, or which require a specific, unique regulation unnecessary or inappropriate to other uses property identified to the zone. And the application Nancy Hack fails to meet the qualification, and the Planning Commission unanimously voted to deny the application for a rezoning request. So what the Planning Commission determined was, since some of the requests that was made under the exclusive use were already permitted in another zone, then it failed to meet the requirements of that zone.
So exclusive use means something's not contemplated. Is that-
Excuse me, sorry. So exclusive use was put in. We were getting a lot of requests for certain things to be put in some properties that are vacant, that nothing in our ordinance said that they could or could not have in any zone. So that's why the exclusive use was created, to allow somebody the opportunity to request this zone to implement something of that nature, whatever it may be. And as well as, for instance, if somebody has a mobile home park and they want to get rid of mobile homes and put permanent housing on there, you cannot do that in an R6 zone. It doesn't allow for permanent housing. They could request exclusive use, submit a plan, and then they could transition in stages, take so many homes out, build a structure, and so on and so forth. So that's what the exclusive use was for different things like that. So if something's already permitted in a certain zone, that's why it doesn't qualify if you request it for exclusive use, because it's already in the ordinance.
So what she was requesting was already in the ordinance,
Well, when you request parts of another zone,
obviously.
that's already permitted. That's what the Planning Commission determined. That's why it didn't meet the requirements.
So two different zones.
Well, she
was
took
applying
parts
to-
out of the neighborhood business zone and requested under exclusive use, and then, added some others. But
So exclusive is basically something that we don't already have a classification for.
Yes,
Is that
ma'am.
right?
Yes, ma'am.
So if we already have a classification for it in another zone, then it's not going to be exclusive.
Right, because it's already
It already
permitted in the
exists.
zone.
It's something that doesn't readily already, exist.
Yes, that's correct.
Okay.
So a venue is already listed.
In the
In the
B1
neighborhood.
zone, it
Right.
says community center, so, I guess it's whatever someone's interpretation is. I don't know. Do you have the,
So
The
Benny,
zoning
by cha-
ordinance.
or Arlene, by changing this, do we go against the KRS?
You're, To change it, my legal opinion is that, based on the evidence presented, it hasn't met the conditions to warrant a map amendment. First of all, I don't think it falls under our ordinance for exclusive use zone based on what Tyler talked about we already have classifications in place. But in addition, you have to prove a map amendment under KRS, which, number one, you have to prove that it's not classified properly, which I don't think there's been any evidence to prove it wasn't classified properly. It's residential. It's a residential area.
Okay, why is it not classified? It's residential. It does not have a bathroom with a shower or a bath. Tell me that's a house?
Well,
Because it was,
because
It's not classified properly?
it was built as a church.
It was built as a church,
Which a
and you
church
can
is
have
permitted. If
in
you
a-
look
in
at
a
the
residential-
R2, it's R2.
R2?
But
And a church-
R2, you can look, I've got it right here.
And a church is
I'll
allowed
read
in
it off.
that categorization.
Church is allowed anywhere, they're exclusive on any place.
Yep.
And then if it doesn't fall in that exception, the other exception is that there's been significant change of a social, economic nature. And I don't believe that there's been any testimony or evidence presented to show that there's been a huge change. And I've read some case law, and what courts have determined, just some examples would be if there had been a new road that went through there, or a new school in that local area, or a hospital, something in that area that changed the nature of that property. And I don't think there's been any evidence submitted tonight to show there's been a significant change.
I guess the other standard is Nancy would have to, Ms. Hack would have to show that when it was classified R2, it was appropriately classified at that time.
Yes,
That's that or the change.
that or the change.
That are the two things that which
Yes.
her burden is showing.
Yes.
Would a population increase in that area, would that help any at all from, 10 years back?
It's
That-
not gonna show on that comprehensive plan, I guarantee you that.
And there have been close to 50 duplexes built within the last 10 to 15 years, right across the street.
I mean,
So, I feel like that's growth. If you know.
It's the growth that was contemplated by the plan, in that the growth, it's zone residential. So the only growth should be residential. It shouldn't be anything because it's zoned R2.
I was born and raised in Grayson County. I'll be 70 years old in October. I cannot believe what I'm hearing. I am very disappointed and very upset. You know one thing, I'm gonna keep my eye open and my ear open. And I'm gonna be watching and listening. That's all I've got to say. I've got 10 deeds in the city of Leitchfield, and I've been a law-abiding citizen. And I plan to stay that way. But I'm real disappointed in a lot of people.
Can she change her venue?
No, Clayton, I appreciate your help, I really do. And I appreciate a lot of it, and I'm disappointed in a lot of it too. Thank you so much.
Does anyone else have any questions for Earlene or Tyler?
And I'm merely just stating the KRS, that's also our local ordinance, of basically what the law, what you would have to find to be a lot, going by the law to make the change, so.
What would be the issue as far as liability if we went against the law?
KRS does have on the books that you could be held personally liable if there's a violation of going by the conditions that are required. So if you're in violation of any of the ordinances.
Wonder how many times that's ever been tried and ever been done.
I mean, I haven't done any research to see, you know, if that's, I haven't read any other cases, but it is on the books and it is a law that's enforceable.
So we could be sued individually as well as being sued by the city council.
Yes, I mean, there, that is an option. Would it hold, would someone actually file that? I
That's
don't
the key,
know,
yeah.
but-
Who could file?
Yeah, just any entity or individual. So it doesn't even have to be the property owners, like another taxpayer in the city could file and, you know, a claim against the councils, the mayor, anyone who violates the provisions.
The thing you run into is in the area, it says that nothing's really changed in the area. I mean, it's got duplexes all over it. But, the planning and zoning ought to realize that how you gonna change anything in the area if they don't change it to start with something,
Right. It's strategic planning.
you know?
You know, you gotta protect residents
It's resident.
in business.
And
So
it's-
strategically, if you look at the land use maps, you got a current land use map and you got a future map. There's not a lot of change on there, I will admit, but I've been working on this for about 3 months now. You want to try, you know, you want to strategically locate your industry. You want to keep certain commercial businesses in certain areas. And then you want to protect the residential, because a lot of people don't want the higher traffic volume in their area.
Yeah.
You know, they don't want the noise and all that. So you have to strategically place that, you know, look at your street system, look at your, you know, your interstate or your parkways and things like that. You know, look where you can put industry and not harm someone else's property where they live.
I understand.
So,
But I mean, just like last month, whenever they changed that to commercial down there on Mill Street, that section was changed to commercial. There's residential houses actually sitting on the property.
Yes.
And there's residential houses all around the property, all the way around it. But they changed that. And here we've got a place sitting out at, almost at the edge of the county.
right.
I mean, it's not but 100 yards from the county line once you cross the city line. You're not 100 yards from it. And to me, I mean, I just don't see what it would cause such a problem. I really don't.
I don't
I mean,
either.
if something was changed, then maybe something else would go in even better later on, you know? But until something's changed, nothing's gonna grow.
Well, it's still subject to, do they want something better in that location later? Is the deal.
Right. So
Is,
So, do
the
we,
issue here, though, is with what the planning commission presented, but in their findings and their recommendation, is that the request does not meet the requirements of the ordinance.
right.
Because she requested something that's already in another zone. So that automatically was a denial.
Which is backed by the KRS.
Yes.
so do
Is
we,
an event venue already in another plan or something? Just an event venue, is that in another plan? I mean, that's, at the end of the day, that's what she's actually requesting, is an event venue.
Right.
You know,
So that's
if,
already in something else?
Well,
Community
do you
centers.
have do you have the ordinance?
Another zone
I do
that-
have the,
Can you see, is there a definition for community center? I can't remember if there is or not. It'll be in
She's not asking for the community.
the zoning ordinance.
And I've also got some pictures for any of the new city council that may not have seen the inside and outside if I'm allowed to pass these around. I don't know.
You're fine. If you want to pass them out.
You can kind of prove that,
I've
I mean, I know it's classified as residential, but these pictures will obviously show.
Well, I mean, if you want to bring them, but I mean, I've been inside the property, I know.
Right.
I'll vouch, it does not have it.
Right,
No kitchen, no washer and dryer hookups, no bathtub, no shower,
right.
so,
And again, nothing else would ever been built there if it hadn't been church,
yeah.
other than resident.
Tyler mentioned the traffic volume. I mean, I don't know how much volume was going
Well,
on.
that was just an explanation of.
Right, but, you know, as an event venue, most of the time that's gonna be on a Saturday, you know, 4 days a month. Is all that road is really gonna probably be used if it became an event venue? As to where if you have a church, you're going on every Sunday plus every Wednesday, plus any other revivals or anything like that. So I really don't see how traffic
think so.
volume would hold up, you know, just
Do we
It's public
have
road,
a,
so it doesn't matter if there's a building there or if they're just using that as an taxi.
do we have a legal definition of a church?
Yes.
Yes,
So could she do a business as a church and then do what she wants to do?
No
She could-
problem.
She probably could if she get the IRS to recognize, you know,
Yeah.
it's
I mean,
Scientology. She
she-
could be
she-
Nancy's Hack's Church of Cave Mill Road. If the IRS would recognize it, then she could do,
Do whatever she wanted.
to an
Not whatever
extent,
she
yeah.
wanted.
to an extent.
Right.
But
A building together, this is a church, but it just says a building together with buildings and uses where persons regularly assemble for religious worship, and which building together with this additional buildings and uses is maintained and controlled by religious body organized to sustain public worship.
I think part of the issue too, Tyler, you and Travis both can correct me if I'm wrong, but if she did it as a church, she would have to sell it as a church, basically, or a
I mean,
residence.
she could sell it as is, you know, it's
I mean,
a
it's already a
building.
church.
It's a building, you know, it's a vacant building, and she can
But
sell it as is.
she would have to be upfront with whoever the buyer was about the zoning issues.
Yes.
That go along with it. And I think that's, from what I've gathered, being in attendance at some of the hearings, that she wants to be able to sell it also as,
Well, that was mentioned way, like, whenever this had all began, but it's not up for sale. I don't know if that was just a misunderstanding,
okay.
you know, or what, but it's not for sale. It's not listed, it's not advertised for sale at all.
Yeah, and I was just going, like I said, it's been a while since I came to that planning and
Well,
zoning meeting, but
I think when Miss Blair come with her that time,
Yeah,
that was taken that
Well,
way, that,
like I said, in the original,
Yeah.
that was a possibility, but since then, it's not, you know, it's something we're trying to, you know, create, because it's something that's needed in this city.
Okay.
It's a venue of some sort.
But-
Just like Mom said, I mean, a lot of places are huge, and respectfully, they, you know, it brings in a lot of money for them. And, you know, for a smaller building, it's more feasible for people that do need parties, that either the center on main may be booked, or, you know, all these other venues. I know one particular that's 2 years out.
Yeah.
But to answer your question about the, what'd you say, event venue?
Venue.
She could request specifically for event venue,
That's fine.
Okay.
but in this particular case, she requested
Exclusive.
7 or 8 uses that are already permitted in another zone.
Okay.
So,
She needs to be
I mean, we do, it does say community center, but we do not have a legal definition of community center. So if she wants to call it an event venue, then
I mean,
No,
wouldn't
it's
it kind
whatever.
of fall under,
But-
you know, with,
some people would think that would fall under community center, but the thing about it is, when you're dealing with law,
right.
you know, it's whatever's on that paper.
so does that ease you any?
I mean, it does, maybe as long as it.
I understand.
So what process-
I can't be the one to say, let's do that.
Same process, all the way back over.
all the way
to
back to planning and
commission.
zoning.
How long
Okay.
period of time from
And-
when she, are there a time limit from when she?
There's
filed?
not a time limit on when someone can apply for a zone change. There's not a waiting period. KRS gives us the opportunity to adopt a waiting period, but we do not have one in our ordinance. So
As far
I
as
think
waiting
that was
period,
some question.
you mean to reapply?
Yes,
Okay, waiting period to reapply.
yes. So that question has come up before, and I read through the ordinance. We do not have a waiting period.
And I
So-
double checked that,
Yeah.
because there is a KRS that allows us to pass something. We don't have anything on the book, so there could be another application that she could file, and if she wanted to be specific and do the venue,
Yeah.
that could be an option. So
Right.
there's not a waiting period.
Well, we were talking about in the venue, yard sales, does that fall under venue?
Yard sales are yard sales. If she has a yard sale out there, it's no different than any one of y'all having a yard sale at your house.
I don't know, if
Now,
there was a.
there is an
There
ordinance.
is an
There is an
ordinance where
ordinance.
you're.
There's an
Two
ordinance.
a year.
2 a year.
Yeah, if you do more than 2 a year,
Yeah.
then you have to have a business license and net profits and all that.
Yeah.
So at that point, then it's a business.
Sure.
So,
So,
But I mean, with an event venue, wouldn't you have to have a business license anyway?
yes,
Yes,
And so
yes,
that,
yes.
the yard sale, I mean, if she were to do that, it wouldn't really matter.
it would be considered retail if she did a yard sale. And that's a
Right.
commercial type.
So she might as
So-
well go ahead and file for a business license after.
But just for clarification, transparency, whatever you want to call it, she can apply for another exclusive use. She can apply specifically for event venue if she chooses to. I have nothing up here saying that it will pass or it won't. I have no decision in any of that. So I just want to make that clear.
Can you double check to make sure that we don't have any other type of adult venue zoned
Yes.
classification whatsoever in the city of Litchfield before she goes through with this?
Yes. So we do pre-application conferences. We'll have that. I'll go through the whole ordinance before it gets to that point and make sure.
So Travis, what do you think?
So tonight is totally different though.
Yeah, you're,
Tonight, we gotta vote on.
you've
what-
got to vote on what was
What
presented.
the KRS,
Yes.
what the all
Yes.
goes, right.
Yes.
That's a whole different.
Different thing.
Yeah, this
She
would
wants to do
be
event
after the
venue,
fact.
or- Yeah.
If the vote
process would
goes-
start over.
If the vote that you all make denies the request has changed, then she would have the opportunity to do that. If you vote for her to change it, then it's changed and she can do it anyways. So that's your all's decision. So you
But
still,
I got legal representation from right there telling me that if I vote yes, I'm changing and open up for controversy. And if I do, I'm sticking with the ordinance and the plan that planning and zoning had presented their findings.
either way, you
Right.
still have to vote one way or another.
And Ms. Hack or anyone that went through the process always has the right to appeal to Grayson Circuit Court. And the standard on appeal is whether or not there was substantial evidence to support your decision. And I don't think there's been substantial evidence presented that would, that it falls under the KRS.
Travis, do you have a question?
Is it possible with what she's requested for you all to vote on tonight, could you all say, like have an exception to where, that you could only allow an event venue and nothing else?
No.
So she doesn't have to
No.
apply, because I mean, this is getting,
Right.
you know, 4 no's is getting expensive, you know.
We can only, or I'm not a voter, but they can only take the actual request. We can't amend the request after it's been submitted.
Anyone else?
Any other questions?
Okay. Arlene, do you have anything else for council?
I don't. Does anybody have any other questions?
All right, I'd like to speak to a couple of things that was brought up about the comprehensive plan. The future land use map in that area is residential. And then also, as far as the updates go, it is required to do it every 5 years. The last update was during COVID, and the state gave every entity an extension on getting that done, so that's why it hasn't been readopted yet. So, but it's being worked on.
Now, will that be reflective in what's online, once it's done?
Yeah, if you look at the ordinance online, you can see each year that it was readopted from beginning and then every 5 years.
But
after
it
that.
wasn't in the same document as she
It-
downloaded from
When-
the comprehensive plan.
When you go in there, you've got the comprehensive plan under the zoning ordinance, it's just the comprehensive plan. When you go and open up the actual zoning ordinance, it's the first pages of that, shows when it was adopted. And then when it was updated or readopted.
Well, that's what I was looking at here. And at the very beginning of it, that's the reason I asked if it would be reflective in that, because it says April 2015 on the first page.
Right.
And I know as you look at the pages.
When we readopt it, that will change to the current adoption date.
Okay. Okay.
Thank you, Tyler.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Tyler. Okay, so at this time, I guess we'll vote on the specific amendment, or I mean, the specific instance that Nancy has requested, and you can talk to her, Travis, and let her know that she can reapply as that entertainment venue, so.
Tell her to be specific.
Yes. I need to take a vote to close the public hearing.
I make a motion to close the voting.
Okay,
I'll second
I
it.
mean, the, whatever.
Public.
second by Gina, all in favor?
Aye.
the hearing.
And they have all your deliberations, making motions.
Do what?
You can have your deliberations on what was presented, which Nancy and me,
And then put it to a vote.
then you can make a motion on what you want to do. Or if you're ready to make a motion, do that.
You guys, everybody good? Anybody got anything to add or any other questions? Okay, so in the subject of public hearing, RZ 23-114, I'll entertain a motion to accept Ms. Hack's request.
I'll make a motion.
Motion by Clayton,
I'll second it.
second by Tootie. Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Do we have to?
It actually needs to be an
Roll call.
individual. It needs to be an individual.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. Roll call vote. So we'll start with Danny,
Nay.
Gina,
Nay for this one.
Yay.
Clayton, Tootie,
Okay.
Terry.
Nay.
Okay.
Aye. So we've got 4-2 basically with Clayton and Tootie, so, okay. And Travis, do encourage Nancy to continue on if she so chooses, you know, so. Okay. All right, down to visitors. Do we have any visitors? Miss Christie, you got anything for us?
Thank you,
We'll let
Travis.
you go ahead and go. Thanks, Travis.
Thank you very much. I don't have a lot.
Good.
I'm Christy. I'm the assistant at Rivers and Rec. Tammy's on vacation this week. Her granddaughter turned 16, so she is in Michigan. Just give a little update. Tammy and I have been working for weeks on trying to get enough employees at the pool. So we officially have 49 employees. We have 28 signed up to guard and 21 for concessions. The guard certification will take place in May, so we'll have a better idea of who will pass, fail, you know. But we're hopeful that they'll stay on and do concessions if they can't. But I think we've got a good group of kids. I'm excited. Opening day for LAC will be on Memorial Day. We are not going to open for the weekend. Normally it's slow, so we just decided Monday, fresh out the gate. Of course, baseball and softball is well underway. The final picks were made, I think, over the weekend. I still haven't got final drafts on everything yet. A few have turned in today, but total number, softball, we had 155, and then baseball registrations, we had 336. And we still have people calling. I mean, it's crazy. So I think that we had really, really good numbers. We're thankful that this year we do have plenty of coaches. We did have to call and beg. I didn't. Jody did, and I think Tammy and some of the ball boards. But we got plenty of coaches, so that was great.
Both leagues,
Yes,
girl number.
I think so, yes. Yes. That's about all I have.
Does the 336, Christie, include Clarkson and Caneyville? That's
Yes,
just-
well, what they had turned in to me, I made notes on them, but we had like 11 Clarkson members in coach pitch, 6 for minors and 2 for major. The softball, I don't have, you know, that's not, but yeah.
So that 300 numbers, us and them, or just what signed up Litchfield?
336 is the number that, for both. For both.
We were told different last time.
Oh.
We were told that was just Litchfield.
Well, there's only, like I said, 11, and 6 is 17, 19. There's only 19 of that number that's Clarkson. The rest of them are Litchfield, so 300, just might as well say. I thought that was a great showing.
Yeah.
T-ball in itself was 108.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a huge number, so, I think, for rec ball.
Yeah.
But anyways,
It'll be here before you know it.
Do we need to congratulate you guys for the Bevel Park?
shoot, yeah.
It's pretty-
I'm proud of our parks.
Pretty good deal.
Until I really,
Maybe you need to toot that a little bit.
well, I am,
tell us what
I
you-
am really proud of our parks. We went to KRPS conference, last October, November, and, we were awarded Class 1 Park of the Year for our upgrades with the new play structure, and, which you gotta praise Keith Pierce too, because that's his park. He treats it like it's his.
He does.
And
He does a good
he does a
job.
phenomenal job. And then you've got Jody and Terry and David that all, we're a team. And when Tammy says we're a team, we are. We all discuss everything. She's super, very open, very transparent. I think we have a really good team. We have a very small team, but I'm proud of our people.
Yeah.
And we have lots of parks to be proud of here.
Yeah, we do.
So, but anyways, that's all I've got.
I've got another comment.
Don't make no more comments,
Yeah, this
please.
is a good one. If y'all want to see something beautiful, I think a week ago at 7 o'clock, I was out walking on a Sunday morning, and every park was full. The park at 7 o'clock, and every parking spot was just about taken. I guess they were having a tournament.
Yes, and
Uh,
the tournaments are huge anymore. Tammy actually texted me today. She is on vacation, but she's texted me since Saturday every day. But we're expecting 1,000 people this weekend. And like she had, on the tournament we had March 19th, it was supposed to be a 2-day tournament. It rained us out Saturday. On Sunday, it was held, 1-day event. It was 859 adults and 336 players. I mean, it's huge.
I don't see how Jody got the fields ready as much rain that we had Friday. That was
We
pretty
have
amazing.
the Dolphin, we call it Dudley Dolphin, and Dudley helped him tremendously.
I do have one thing, and take to Tammy and maybe Wes too. A friend of mine daughter was playing from Paducah, and they raved about the fields. The only complaint was that they needed a sign. They got lost on getting there. And while I was walking, I had 3 or 4 people ask me where the parks was at.
Well,
And I
that's
was doing-
actually, before Tammy left, we went through what we needed to go through the next month, because we do a month at a time, because there's so much. And we are going to repaint signs, and I will take it to her that we need to do better signage, but we are going to take care of painting the signs this year.
I don't mind directing traffic, but, church starts at Clinton Street Church of Christ at 10, Sunday school. But anyway, but that was
Yeah.
his thought.
And I can see where
He
that
got
would be
lost,
tricky.
And I did have to direct, they were going around the pavilion.
Yeah.
I said, no, you got to go this way.
Yeah, maybe we can get another sign up, but that's definitely something that's on our list anyway, is to repair and fix what we got there,
I think
so,
that'd be helpful.
yep. But
Oh,
anyways,
one more thing, I'm sorry.
I'm gonna kill you. Don't
Is the
attack.
beaver, I heard the beaver was back, and I had a stitcher.
Sir?
Beaver was back at the park, and I had a constituent said that they voted for me because I promised to get the beaver out of the park.
Well, we'll call the
Leave that
trapper.
beaver alone.
You have to set a beaver trap now.
Yeah, we'll have to set a trap,
But they hadn't seen him for a couple of days, so maybe it left on its own.
hopefully. Keith usually can tell you what's
Yeah.
going on. He's usually, but anyways.
I apologize for
Oh,
that.
no, you're fine, you're fine. But they had, the Vietnam Memorial, we went to that the other day, and that was really cool at the vet park, so.
Yeah.
We're gonna get out there in May and clean that, get it ready for Memorial Day. But anyways, if y'all need anything, call the office.
Thank you.
Thanks, Christie.
Thank you.
Okay. Next on the agenda is results of bid opening for garbage truck. We have something in our packet, and Wesley's also gave us some additional information.
Yeah, I put out the bid for a new garbage truck, and I had 3 companies actually that sent us a bid back, and one of the companies was, it didn't fit the qualifications. The other 2 were, the first one was $198,933.10, and the second one was $243,657. So my recommendation is to go with the one that was cheaper, but the only thing is on it is it's 12 months out before we would be able to take possession of it. The other one was August, I think, of this year, but for $40,000 difference. I mean, we.
Is it gonna put a strain on you if we do wait to get it?
No, I mean, we're making it fine now. We got our truck back from getting a new transmission and everything, so, I mean, we'll plug along like we have been.
Okay.
So we're in decent shape now with
Yeah.
garbage trucks, so.
Yeah,
okay.
for now, knock on wood.
Yeah.
Wes, is the new truck gonna be a rear loader?
Yes.
Versus, no, not an arm, have you thought about doing the arm loader with the new cans coming?
Well, you still would have to have a rear loader for all of our dumpsters, because they are rear load dumpsters. And a lot of places that we have, the arm wouldn't be able to reach out because it's so tight where the
Okay.
trucks are at. And if we had a lot of subdivisions, you know, that had nice concrete where they could set them on, but a lot of ours will set them in the ditch and different things that you wouldn't be able to get to them anyway. So you would still have to have another person on the truck to bring out each can and set it in the street, so
So it really wouldn't help that much then?
not a whole lot, no.
Only- I had another question. How come Peterbilt Louisville is located in Jeffersonville, Indiana?
That I don't know. I can't answer that.
I just thought that was curious.
And they're the company that we got our last one from, the Peterbilt at Louisville. And that was in 2018, I believe.
What's your recommendation, Leslie?
Mine is to go with the one that's 198,000. I mean,
I
it's
make a
basically the
motion.
same truck, other than the chassis are different, but it's not gonna change a whole lot on that.
And for the one that we'd already budgeted.
Right,
I mean,
yeah.
truck. So I think it's a tick cheaper than what we budgeted.
Just a little,
Did we budget 200?
230, I believe.
230?
Yeah.
I'll second Clayton's motion.
All in favor?
Thank you.
Okay. We're ready for the second and final reading of an ordinance amending an ordinance relating to rates and schedules for solid waste pickup.
Whereas the city of Leitchfield, Kentucky has previously adopted an ordinance setting forth schedules and rates for solid waste pickup services, whereas the city of Leitchfield has acknowledged an interest in decreasing rates for solid waste on a temporary basis, and now therefore be it ordained by the city of Leitchfield, Kentucky, that ordinance passed 12/1988 and last amended on 7/6/20 by amended ordinance 2020-12 regulating the rates and schedules of solid waste pickup by the city of Litchfield shall be amended as follows, with deleted portions being indicated by a line drawn through them and encompassed by brackets enclosing them, with added portions being underlined. The above revised rate shall become effective July 1st, 2013. Thereafter, all rates shall automatically increase 10% per annum for each of the next 3 fiscal years. Thereafter, the rate shall be adjusted in an amount equal to the percentage of increase plus 1/2 of 1%, which the city receives from it, the provider of solid waste transport and disposal facility. The service rates for residential properties, non-commercial, and commercial properties containing pickup for 2 yards or less shall not increase for the 2023 fiscal year beginning July 1st, 2023. The service rates shall be reviewed prior to July 1st, 2024.
All right, so we'll do an individual vote on that. I need a motion to.
I'll make a motion.
Motion by Tony, second by Billy, all in favor? Okay.
Roll call.
Danny?
Roll call.
Yeah, Bill, Terry?
Yay.
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 Okay. All right. Next item is second and final reading of an ordinance amending an ordinance relating to rates for new construction of residential properties.
Whereas the city of Leitchfield, Kentucky has previously adopted an ordinance setting forth the regulations of solid waste pickup services, whereas city of Leitchfield, in order to promote growth in the community, has the ability to eliminate solid waste pickup rates for new construction projects not being occupied, and now therefore be it ordained by the city of Leitchfield, Kentucky, that ordinance passed 12/1988 and last amended by ordinance number 2003-12 passed on 11/3/03 regulating solid waste pickup by the city of Litchfield shall be amended as follows, with deleted portions being indicated by a line drawn through them and encompassed by brackets enclosing them, with added portions being underlined. Weekly pickup additional service. A, to the extent reasonably possible, solid waste pickup service shall be afforded to commercial and non-commercial persons once weekly, provided, however, that additional service shall be provided to commercial persons on a more frequent basis when reasonably required to prevent a health hazard, nuisance, or other undesirable condition. The determination regarding additional service shall be made by the or employee empowered to make such decisions. Solid waste pickup services provided to multifamily buildings, the occupants of which generate refuse, which primarily consists of solid waste from personal, family, or household activities, shall be classified as non-commercial users and shall be charged as the non-commercial rate. A monthly charge shall be assessed for each dwelling unit for which solid waste pickup is more regularly available. C, new construction of residential property shall not be assessed a solid waste service rate fee until the project is complete and the property is occupied.
I'll take a motion if no one has any questions to accept the reading.
I'll make a motion.
Motion by Gina, second.
A second.
Second by Tootie. All in favor?
It's a roll call too.
Yeah.
Yep, sorry.
So we'll start with Denny this time.
Yay.
Yeah.
Yay.
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 All right. Oh, yes. Thank you, guys. And next, we have a first reading of an ordinance amending related to planning and zoning penalty.
And this ordinance is basically just doing some cleanup work to make us in compliance with the KRS statute. The one on the books has between 50 to 500. When the actual KRS, this is based on, states between 100 and 500. And so the KRS is controlling, and so this is just some cleanup work to make sure we're in compliance. Summary of an ordinance amending planning and zoning regulations. Whereas the city of Leitchfield, Kentucky has previously adopted an ordinance setting forth penalties for violations of planning and zoning regulations. Whereas the city of Leitchfield, in order to be in compliance with related KRS statutes, must amend the existing ordinance. And now therefore be it ordained by the city of Leitchfield, Kentucky, that ordinance 99-6 passed 7/1999 relating to the establishment of zoning regulations of the city of Leitchfield, Kentucky shall be amended as follows, with deleted portions being indicated by a line drawn through them and encompassed by brackets enclosing them, with added portions being underlined. Section 2-8, penalties for violation. Any person who so violates this ordinance or fails to comply with any of its requirements shall, upon conviction thereof, be fined of not less than $10, but not more than $500 for each offense. Each day of violation shall constitute a separate offense. Any person shall, upon conviction, be fined not less than $100, but not more than $500 for each lot or parcel which was the subject of sale or transfer, or a contract for sale or transfer, which such sale or transfer or contract therefore constitutes a violations of this ordinance.
Okay. So we don't have to take any action tonight. We'll have a
No,
second reading
it's
next.
just a first reading.
Next meeting, okay. Thank you, Earlene. Next on the agenda is a resolution to adopt the Lincoln Trail Regional Hazard Mitigation and Flood Mitigation 2022 Plan Update.
And Harold, the reason we're having to do this is Lincoln Trail is required to receive an adoption of the resolution from each jurisdiction when they come up with the plan, so we're required to do that.
Okay.
And they just send out a general one to everybody. It's the same, you just have to type in your city name, so.
Okay. All right, I'll entertain a motion to accept the resolution to adopt Lincoln Trail Hazard Mitigation.
I'll make one.
Billy,
I'll second.
second by Gina. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, guys. Approval of the February 2023 financial statement. You guys have looked at that, I'm assuming, so if anyone has any questions, Lori can answer all of them.
I can sure try.
No questions? Okay. I'll entertain a motion to approve the February 2023 financial statements. By Clayton, second.
Second.
Second by Tootie, all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Approval of resolution relating to round 2 of the Cleaner Water Program. This is a utility grant. And if you guys will go back. You should be seeing pages that say like so many of 15. Isn't that right, Lori?
Well, that's the agreement that you have to sign. There's a smaller resolution there.
Okay.
That's just a couple pages right after the Exhibit 4.
Okay,
I think it's a little over 2 pages,
yeah.
the way they got it laid out.
Do you want to read that, Earlene, or do we need?
We don't have to
We don't
read
have
it.
to read resolutions.
Okay, okay.
And this grant, and it talks about down there in the next one where he has to sign all the ones, but like this is for the utilities and for the lift station that's going to be revamped on North Leitchfield, so, and it's $503,921.
A little over $500,000 for,
Our part,
No, it's all utilities.
I'll make a motion.
okay, motion by Billy, second by Clayton, all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, guys. Okay, next on the agenda is approval from Mayor Miller to sign the commitment letter and any documents needed for round 2 of the Cleaner Water Program in the amount of $503,921 for the Leitchfield Bypass Development Lift Station and Collection Project. This is a utility grant. Current documents to be signed are commitment letter, grant assistance agreement, and certification regarding utility accounting, cost-based rates, and auditing. So, are there any questions on that? Basically we're taking the grant, signing for it.
Yeah, and there'll be several more documents probably that has to be signed, so that's why I asked to go ahead and give him permission to sign anything else that comes along with that.
I'll make a motion to give him permission.
Motion by Gina, do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Second by Tootie, all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Our next item is Board of Adjustments appointments to replace Steve Alvey and Leon Shaw since they've both stepped down. Steve is moving actually out of the city, and Leon was, he was ready to step down and do something else, so. Tyler and I had talked earlier a couple of times about allowing or picking the replacements for those. Tyler, can you elaborate a little on what you, because the 2 people that we asked to do this are actually on the Planning and Zoning. They will be representing the Planning and Zoning Board for the Board of Adjustments, so.
Yeah, our Board of Adjustments can consist of 2 members that also serve on the Planning Commission. Currently, that we didn't have any with Leon stepping down, we only had 1. So we can use 2 that are currently serving, and just for experience sake and getting more training and stuff like that, we chose to ask some people if they would be willing to, and if you all would agree with it. That's why we went with people that are already on the commission, so they do have some background in planning and kind of have an idea of when they get a variance request, whether or not they can change a setback line and make it smaller than what the requirement is and things like that. So that way they know more about it going in.
Okay. Thank you, Tyler. Anybody have any questions so far?
Who did you decide to put on there?
I was going to run these names by everybody. Tim Bocock was one of the names that we'd come up with. The other was George Hack. As Tyler said, we think it'll help the Board of Adjustments having somebody from Planning and Zoning on there to that's familiar with, that's wholly familiar with what their goal is, so.
I make a motion.
So we need to do them one at a time.
One at a time.
One at a time, because we need to, because they got different term end dates, so we're gonna have to designate which goes where.
Okay. Steve Alvey replacement will be going through 1 of 24. We'll do that one first. I'll take, does it matter, Tyler? Okay.
I make a motion, Tim Buckle.
Okay. Tim Bocock, we'll do him first. Clayton makes a motion.
I'll second.
Second by Tootie. All in favor?
Right.
Thank you. Leon Shaw replacement will be through 1 of 25. We'll ask Mr. Hack to take that. We'll ask for a vote on that. George.
I make a motion for George.
Motion by Tootie, second by Gina. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, guys.
Can I abstain from that last one? George lives down there, he's my neighbor, and I'd rather not vote. He's my neighbor, but I will say he's well qualified. He's gone to all kinds of trainings already, planning and zoning. He really takes his job serious, but since he's a friend and a neighbor, maybe I better not. I'll abstain.
Okay.
He wouldn't mind if you
That don't
voted
make
for him.
Yeah. Just,
I hate to vote for
Just
a
because
friend.
he's your friend and your neighbor?
Yeah, well, he's a good guy.
Yeah, but I don't
You
see that
abstain
that's...
from voting because it's your friend and neighbor?
Well, I withdraw my abstention and vote yes, then, thanks to Mr. Dallas' encouragement.
it's unanimous, Lori.
It was anyway.
Yeah. Just as an aside there, several members of that Planning and Zoning Commission has gone to some training.
Yes.
Spent a good amount of time and traveled pretty good distance to do that, and it's good that they're willing to do that. I think that's one of the toughest jobs that the city has, is the planning and zoning and some of the issues they deal with, so appreciate those that are willing to step into that role. Okay, unfinished business. Billy?
Wesley, what about the track, walking track? At
City
the-
Park?
At the city park.
Yeah, just as soon as ever we get some good dry forecasted weather, we'll start back on it. We've got about another half a mile to finish.
Still same plans around the front
Yeah.
of the memorial?
We'll take out the gravel that's there now and the dirt behind it and redo all that, re-sow it all, get it back like it was, and then proceed around the front.
I understand,
So it's just waiting on a good forecast, no rain.
I understand. Thank you, that's all I have.
Terry?
I don't really know if it's unfinished or new. If it's,
Hit us with it, we'll see.
Yeah.
well,
We'll
it's
take
about,
care of it either way.
it's about the dilapidated property. I have a question about that.
Okay. Go ahead.
All right, is there a timeline from when someone starts the demolition, whenever they say, we're going to do this? Is there a timeline from start to finish for these people?
90 days from the date of the permit issued.
Can I say something?
Sure.
So I had something similar on my list.
Well, I do too, and it's news.
Okay, okay, we'll wait then. We'll wait.
Yeah,
So unless we want to address it now, Mayor.
We'll keep that in mind, Terry. That'll be the first thing we'll address in new business.
Okay.
That be okay, Terry?
Sure,
Okay.
yeah.
Since others have got similar questions, so.
Okay.
Unfinished business, Tootie.
I don't have anything.
Gina? Danny?
Just Wes, anything on, I think I talked to you previously about Fountain View that I got another call again.
Yeah, and it needs quite a bit of work, and like I said, once we can get all these cans delivered, then that's gonna be our next trip out there between it and the walking track. But, about every place down through there needs to be ditched and cleaned out.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's on.
Still on the list?
Is there a certain street there, so I can put it in the minutes?
Certain street,
Yeah, or is it just in all Fountain View?
basically all.
Okay.
Okay, thanks, Wes.
Lori, do you have anything unfinished business? Earlene?
No.
Wesley?
Just that we're still delivering garbage cans. I think we've got 1,000 left. So we're getting them out when we can. It just takes a little while to deliver that many cans. But,
Yeah.
you know, everybody will eventually get one. So and the ones that we have out so far, people are using them. It looks nice to drive through a subdivision and all you see is that can.
Yeah.
Not trash scattered everywhere, piled up and everything. So
Yeah.
they kind of get everybody used to
Get
it.
used to it. Good. Okay.
Other than that,
Okay. Chief Ryder?
No, sir.
Okay. Tyler?
No, I'll wait for the next round.
All right.
Hang on to your mic, Tyler.
All right. So new business. Terry, you go first.
Well,
Because we
Billy-
already started
yeah.
with you. You go ahead.
I'll ask one, and, because my
All right.
second one was
We'll
the same
just
thing
kind
as
of
Tim.
trickle down.
Okay.
The people that's demolitioning on High Street, the trailer park, wait a minute, did they get a demolition permit?
No,
What's our, okay, they didn't, but they've demolitioned I say horribly, it looks horribly, but where do we turn? What's our next resource to them?
okay, so I tried to contact the owner of the property last week several times by phone, unsuccessful. I typed up a letter for them today, and I put it in the mail, but then I obtained their email address, and I emailed a copy of that letter to them. They did respond. They have hired a new contractor as of today
Okay,
to finish tearing those down and getting it cleaned up.
okay.
And it's somebody local that's very well known, and I'm going to call them tomorrow to find out what their plan is on getting it done.
Well,
Now,
Hey,
my
go ahead,
second
Billy.
question was, I'll let Terry take care of that, because that's what, I was gonna ask the same thing on Lee.
Timeline. What kind of timeline are we giving these people that
Okay.
did not obtain a demolition permit and now they have a new contractor in?
Okay, well, we don't have an ordinance, so I can't give them a timeline. I can talk to them and ask them what would be reasonable for them and see if we can come up with some sort of agreement. And if they are progressing up to that point, now, if they come out and say it's going to be 3 months, I'm going to tell them that's not acceptable, but.
I thought there was a timeline, an ordinance that had a timeline set.
On the demolition program. If they apply for a permit for the
Okay.
demolition program, they have 90 days to complete it.
But they did not apply.
But these
for the
people,
permit, so
they
their
d-
90 days is
Yeah,
not.
they did not want to be a part of the demolition program, and they did know about it.
Okay.
Well, aren't they a timeline set for them then?
We
Yeah,
don't
they
have
don't-
an ordinance saying that somebody's got to clean that up. Now, like I said, they've been working on it for probably 3 or 4 weeks, but when you're tearing down 7 structures, how much time is enough time? Granted, they did it in a very,
Well, we need an
I
ordinance.
agree.
Questionable
the
one.
way they did it was not the way most people would do it.
I agree.
Well, there's no tape up around that. I've got pictures of the thing.
I've got pictures and videos.
Everybody does, but there's no tape to keep anybody from going in there. You got kids, and kids is gonna go in there and do something, and they need to do something, put tape across there, do not cross, whatever needs to be done.
Well, then we need to adopt an ordinance telling them they have to do that, or I can only recommend that they do it.
Sounds good to me. I make a recommendation.
Well, you'll
We'll have to get it
draw up.
we'll have to get it written
Yeah.
up, and
You'll
then
have to read.
I'll have to-
It'll have to be an
I'll have
ordinance.
to draw something up.
Okay, thank you,
But-
everyone.
Can we do that before the next meeting? I mean,
Well, it'll have to have, I can
I mean,
have
we
it
can
on.
have all the readings that we want, but,
Yeah, but it will have to have 2 readings because it will be
Right.
an ordinance. But yeah, I can have it drafted for them.
I mean, it's not only a safety issue, we owe it to the people who live in that neighborhood, who, who take pride in their properties. And when you have that horrible debris, it's beyond an eyesore. And with the wind that was blowing, and it's blowing in other people's properties, and they're having to go out and pick that up, and who even knows what is on that material? We need to get something drafted, whatever we need to do, we need to do it.
So there's no ordinance period, once somebody starts tearing something down, if they don't go through.
if they're making significant progress, then
'Cause-
they're doing the job. If they go in and they work for a couple days and then they're gone for 2 weeks, they're not progressing. Then we can send, a violation or something
Well,
like
the
that.
stockyard, same way.
Yeah,
You
that's
know.
what I thought, the stockyards, I've got that
But,
on my list.
I
and the
agree
house
that
on
we
Mill
gotta
Street.
protect the people, but at the same time, those people have complained about the conditions of this trailer park and wanting it gone for how many years, and now it's being taken care of.
Sure.
And I'm still getting the same complaint, when's it gonna be done?
Well, I mean,
So,
technically, it's
like I
not a
said-
trailer park anymore, that all
Well,
of
they've got a new
the trailers are
contractor
just
as of
condensed
today,
down to rubble.
and I said I will be contacting him tomorrow to get a plan, and then I can present that to you all at the next meeting. Hopefully, it'll be done by that meeting.
Hopefully,
Well,
yes.
I've been told that, that they're supposed to secure any loose materials tomorrow and start serious cleanup first of the week.
Yes.
That's,
So,
That's
so
it.
Tyler, since they're doing it that way, can they bring trailers right back in to replace the ones they're demolishing?
They have that option. They have to put the trailers back, they do have to be the same size or meet the setback requirements that were in effect at the time the trailer park was built.
Does anybody know what sizes were in there? Or
Roughly.
just guess?
Well, they've got titles to everything, so that it'll be on the title.
I just got a text, and they had, one of the people out there had just talked to the owner, and they said that, the plan was to start cleanup at the first of the week, this coming week. And they were going to secure the loose materials starting tomorrow. They promised to start tomorrow with all that material. Now, while I was sitting out there, there was stuff blowing, going every direction, and people having to pick stuff up out of their yards and take it back over there. You got a church sitting there right behind it, you know.
I understand, and like I said, I tried all last week to contact the owner and was unsuccessful. I sent a letter, and I finally got a reply from the owner today.
Good.
And the resident did too, that had complained, they had received today.
What about the stockyard? Did they do whoever's tearing that down, did they go through so they're just demolishing too, they're just tearing down? And we can't do, because we don't have an ordinance that states any specific timeline,
I can send them a letter asking them to speed up.
that would be awesome.
Okay.
And if we're sending out letters, can we send one to the property on the corner of Mill Street, and I think it's Hardin Street? I think they had a bar.
That's on the agenda for the next code enforcement meeting.
Gotcha, okay,
yeah, Tyler and I talked about that a few days ago, so.
yeah, okay. Thank you.
Okay, anything else, Terry?
Are we on new? I've lost it. We're on new?
Yes.
Yeah. new
All right,
business,
so, how about some happy news?
yeah.
Yes. It's always nice whenever we're out in the community and people, we hear a lot of complaints and things that we need to do, but I had several people, just in the last few weeks, specifically calling out Keith Pierce and how he takes such pride in his work and keeps our park just immaculate. And after that windstorm that we had, the first one in March, I think it was March 3rd-ish, anyway, he was out there and he was just doing good. So I just kind of wanted to give a little shout out to Keith Pierce and let him know how thankful, his work is not going unnoticed. It's noticed by all of us, but it's also noticed by people out in the community. Okay, I do have one more thing on new business that I do have a question about. Wesley, I'm going to ask you because I don't really know who else to ask. When there are cuts in the roads, our city roads, done for utility work, who is responsible for fixing that back to like it was? Is that on?
Utility department is responsible for fixing it back.
All right, so let me ask you, do we have any type of timeline for them to complete their fixing our roads?
Not that I'm aware of.
It's weather and getting the material in it.
Well, I mean,
And
getting
They
what
have to
they,
get back in that area or something, you know, with a valve or different things that,
Well, we may
so
need
we
to.
have to cut it up to.
yeah, I personally called twice on the one on
I know.
West Walnut Street, and they put the rock back in. In fact, last Friday, they come and took it out. What all rock that had scattered out, which it's horrible again today.
Yeah.
So it,
But that's gonna happen, but do they even have blacktop to patch with?
That's what I was getting ready to say.
I don't
Blacktop
think they
now?
have,
I don't think it's open
I don't
yet.
think it
believe
is.
it's open.
But as soon as it's open, they'll start fixing those patches like that. It's just getting the material right now. I mean, you put rock in it, but, you know, people take off at that intersection, rock comes out. You know, as soon as ever we call them or anybody complains, they're right there fixing it. I mean, it's not.
yeah, they were when I called Dwight, yeah, they were.
so I need to contact Dwight or have other people contact Dwight?
You
Just
can do
to
that, or
keep
you
it
can
on
call
his
the utility
radar?
shop, or,
Okay.
start to say Arlene.
Or
Christine can
Make a
relay
list of-
that on to the guys.
They do have a small blacktop machine, Terry, that they can, you know, they can repair smaller cuts on their own, but the rest will be.
And Terry, I
Sky's.
think the number over there is 259-3541, I think.
Yes,
Is that right?
yeah.
That's all I have.
Okay, thank you. Tootie,
No, sir.
Clayton,
Far beyond me.
Gina.
I think I'm gonna beat him this week. I got a list.
Okay.
Lights on the square. Did we talk about that? That there was.
What happened to them?
They have not
They're
been.
out.
Yeah, they're
I don't
out.
know, yeah, I didn't,
I've been up there and it's pitch
well,
black.
half of the square,
Yeah. So I
half
didn't-
of them are out,
Like.
On the west side.
Street lights?
Yeah,
or-
street lights.
street
Okay.
lights.
Yeah.
Um,
So if we could check on that.
We will.
See,
And they've been out a while.
they have been, and I just hadn't been out at dark.
Yeah, that'll be KU, and I'll contact them tomorrow.
Yeah,
I
southwest
didn't realize they
side.
were out.
Yeah.
Okay, second thing, and I just think I need an explanation on this. Somebody had asked me about moving forward as we widen and extend roads and things. Is underground utilities an option? And what's the pros and the cons?
Underground utilities, most any electric company now will encourage you to put everything underground.
They will?
Yes.
Okay, so we can look at that city-wise as we,
Well,
or is it more state?
no, there's not any hard and fast rules yet. I think at some point, you'll see electric companies require things to go underground. Basically, the reason people don't a lot of the times, especially when you're talking about underground primary, things like that, running down streets or bypass or something like that, is the cost.
Okay,
Because the cost has to be borne by, like if the city wanted everything on the bypass underground, then we would have to dig the ditches, set the pedestals. The only thing the electric company's gonna come in is come in and run the wire.
okay.
So the brunt of the expense would be on
On
either, whatever individual was wanting
okay,
to convert it. There's places really that you just can't because there's so much, it would be hard to do that down here because you've got power lines on it, you've got telephone, you've got cable TV.
okay,
It would take a big
undertaking.
undertaking to get everybody on the same
So the new
page.
lights out by Walmart, are they, the state put them in? Who put the ones in right there by the?
By the back entrance.
By the back entrance?
KU did.
Okay.
Did they?
Yeah.
So was that a cost to us?
Yes.
Yeah.
Just the electricity or the pedestals and poles?
I'm assuming just the electricity.
Just electricity,
So
you don't,
just electricity,
I
Right.
haven't seen any bills for
I don't think,
poles
are
or
they even
so.
on yet?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Okay.
yes, they're on.
But we haven't seen a bill, I haven't seen a bill yet on it, but normally they go ahead and put the pole, the pedestal, we do run the conduit for them.
Yeah. Yeah, oh, it's brightened it up.
It's like,
I mean, they need to be there.
yeah.
and they've got, I'm not sure they've got them all done, but I know Warren started recently on South Main here, down through here with replacing, Warren actually starts at the bank up here and going this way, so I'm not sure what all we came up with. I know Rick had, when he was mayor, had contracted Warren to change to all LED.
Yeah.
I don't know if he did something similar with KU or not, do you, Wes?
I don't know if he did or not on that.
And Warren, of course, is
I don't
pretty
think
much
he did.
I think Christine.
everything south and this way on 1214 and then started the bank here in south. So I'm not sure if they did anything with KU or not. when I call this light in tomorrow, I'll ask them and see if I can get hold of an engineer or something.
And speaking of lights, I had somebody, and I have not been out there to look, but somebody had asked about a light at the entrance of Fountain View.
That's in the
Yes.
works.
That's
Okay, in the works.
We're
Okay.
waiting on KU.
Okay.
Basically, they've been contacted.
You just give us a price and everything on what it will be, and then I can present that to you all and we can proceed from there.
And then I had somebody ask about, do we have anything in place for landlords who are renting properties that are, I'm going to say uninhabitable, but do not have running water?
Slumlords.
Okay, so I will get with you with some addresses, and I want to check to see about those.
Is
Okay.
that cold water and hot water, or just water?
It just states utilities.
Okay, which brings me to my last thing. Denny has his little Bible over here of all the ordinances and resolutions and things like that. I think as council members, we all need a copy of that, because that's what we go by, that's what we operate by. I want them to read.
Okay.
So if there's something I need to print, or if we can get those printed, I think each one of us needs those.
We should be able to get those through.
Do you just print that off American Legal?
I did not. You know my IT abilities. My daughter in California did, and
Is that where it
she
came
prepared
from?
it for me.
You said resolutions, so you have resolutions?
What
I
do
do
you
not. I just have the
Okay.
ordinances.
Okay.
All I do is have,
Ordinance, okay.
yeah, no resolutions, just ordinances.
Okay, just.
Or we could get a copy of this for, what, $100? I'll talk to Brittany, see what price you think would be appropriate.
Okay.
for
You
the
get
city council.
10%?
Are they the latest update?
It's 5 or 6 years ago when I was city attorney, so I'm sure it needs to be updated.
There's been some updates
We
since
update those
then.
every year.
Yeah.
I have to send in ordinances every year for what they've done from whatever time frame I cut off.
It really is handy.
Years.
Yeah, I think,
But they have done it this year, so everything besides what we've passed since I sent them in at the beginning of 2023 will be there.
and then as we pass them, we can update our own.
Keep copies of it.
Right,
yeah,
update our
we
own.
can add to them.
Planning and zoning has, they have a packet like that, and it has all the ordinances updated relating to planning and zoning, and the KRS related to it.
Yeah,
And
we had a disc one time, but that was
And it's
probably
pretty handy, too.
15 years ago.
even has a comprehensive plan, doesn't it?
Carrie had,
There's planning and zoning.
Right.
Yeah.
Under planning and zoning, comprehensive plan, plan use and everything, it's on our website already.
You don't understand, Tyler, you're young. We need it on paper, so we can hold it.
I hold a paper.
we can hold
It's
it.
easy to print off.
I'm the oldest one in.
Carrie does a great job with
She does.
I'm
Danny,
done.
that it? Danny, new business?
I do, this is a question related to hers outside, it's not within our area, but you're on the utility commission. Any discussion, maybe we can have a resolution to encourage them to do something with the new bypass?
I think that's something we need to discuss. Lori and I talked about that today, and I know, we didn't run utilities around this part of the bypass, and I think it's something, personally, I think it's something we need to really look into and try to get done, because, there's going to be businesses of different kinds want to locate on the bypass, and kind of where we're sitting now is, whether that can be a subdivision, a business of some type, or whatever, or, are we going to be able to get utilities to it, gas, sewer, water? Gas and water is not too bad. I think it's the sewer that's really expensive, but I think it's something that all you guys maybe give some thought to, and see if that's something we could adopt and ask them, because with the growth that everybody's predicting that we're going to see, I feel like it'll benefit us down the road. It may be several years, but it'll never, I don't know that it'll ever be as cheap to do it as now. It's not
Yeah.
gonna
It's gonna keep going up.
keep going up, so,
Be good to be prepared.
yeah.
I've got one other thing, and this is sort of like Terry's thank you. On the Woodson Cemetery, the Grace County Historical Society paid for the shrubbery to put it around there, And Pineview Nursery gave us a great deal on the shrubbery out there, and my buddy Wes put in half of it. He's going to put in the other half, and thank you. And David, too. David does a phenomenal job putting those signs together. He's pretty talented. And actually, thank the mayor for letting us do it, and Mayor Rick for letting us do it. I think it really adds to our community to do that, because it
shows respect for those that came before us. And, you know, there's 2 cemeteries in particular here in town that I'd like to see us work toward getting some monuments repaired, and just out of respect for the people that came before us. There's some Civil War graves over in one.
Actually, in both. There's one Civil War in the Woodson Cemetery.
Yeah,
And apparently he was only like 13 whenever he was, but there's like 6, 7, or 8 maybe at Barton. And David did a sign for Barton too, and we're gonna put that up. That'll look good.
Signs
He does
do
a
look
job.
good. Yeah.
That's all.
Okay. Lori, new business?
Nope.
No? Earlene?
Someone had brought up the nepotism last meeting, and I was looking through like the Code of Ethics ordinances, and there is an ordinance that's on the books that talks about an enforcement officer that should be appointed by the city. That ordinance was passed in 1995. At that time, Robert Meredith, who's a local attorney, was appointed as that enforcement officer. There's a list of duties that officer is given. It's one of those things, I don't know that the city would use it, but if it would be in place. It is required by KRS to have an enforcement officer named. We don't necessarily have to vote on it tonight, but I was just going to give the council a heads up that we needed to do that and appoint someone to be in compliance with our ordinance.
Are you volunteering?
Actually, I don't think it's a good idea I don't think I could be appointed. It needs to be someone outside of the city attorney. When Kenneth Smart, when it was approved, Robert Meredith was appointed.
And the other
So why
thing
don't we go
too,
ahead and do it tonight?
You could do it tonight, or some
Get it in
people wanted to
place.
take time. I had spoken to Alton Cannon. He said he would take the appointment. He's, of course, a local seasoned attorney that,
And it
said
really-
he wouldn't have an issue.
I'm sorry, Earlene.
No, you go ahead.
It really needs to be an attorney, I think, because they have hearings and they have to apply the rules of evidence. So it'd be hard for just anybody to have an understanding of what you can, hearsay evidence and that can be submitted, cannot be submitted. So it kind of needs to be an attorney.
Yeah, they have the right to issue subpoenas, to take evidence, apply the rules of evidence. It's basically, if there's a complaint about the Code of Ethics, they would deal with a hearing on that matter, can make recommendations to the city council or the mayor. There's a list of duties that would fall under. It's one of those things, I don't know that it would ever be needed, but it would be in place, and actually, under our ordinance and KRS, we're supposed to have it on the books.
Is there salary with that?
What I would suggest, it would be like a 1099. We would give them for their services. They would submit a bill for their services, and we would pay them that way.
There wouldn't be any ongoing salary, it'd just be when we
Yes,
would
it would
use
just
it.
be as needed.
And I think the ordinance specifies that.
Yes.
Basically, the ordinance says you pay him a fee, so it wouldn't be anything
So you've already
specific.
approached Mr.
Yes,
Cannon,
I spoke to
alright.
Alton last week about it, and he said he would be more than happy to.
I'm not opposed to Alton at all, but I'd like to see the
Okay.
list of duties and
Okay,
the
I can do
thing.
that.
I mean, just, like I said, no.
If
no.
you had a book,
Yes,
Yes,
if I had my
and
my
it
book, I
is,
would already have that.
let's see, I had to, if you don't want to look
Well, if Tina
online,
wants to see that, we'll need to wait
it's under
rather than leave her out.
38A.41, under the Code of Ethics, Chapter 38.
I would just like to see what we're voting on before I
Uh-huh.
vote on anything.
So we'll put it on next month's, or next meeting's
That's
agenda,
fine.
and
That's
then
fine.
we'll vote on out and then.
Yeah,
That's
but
okay.
I have, like I said, no opposition to Alton. I just want to read what I'm voting on.
Okay, yeah, that's totally understandable. But I saw it was on the books and someone hadn't been appointed since the 90s on it, so.
Anything else, Early?
No, I don't have anything else.
Wesley?
Yeah, one thing, our annual April cleanup is just coming up Saturday.
It's gonna be this Saturday?
This Saturday, yeah.
Quick notice.
It is, I don't know.
Is that,
From 8 to 12, Public Works Building.
is that in
We'll go
stone?
out. Huh?
Is that in stone?
Tootie's a hot dog man.
I've already got plans.
We'll go out and get a few streets and try to clean up, and if any of y'all have a certain area that you want, let me know. That way I can put a list together to where to send to everybody. They usually pick up trash in, a couple hours, and we usually get quite a bit. I mean, it's surprising just even just walking those short streets, how much you get,
Of everything,
of everything.
everything you can imagine.
Is April the free cleanup month?
It's not really a free cleanup month. I mean, we're open on Saturdays from 8 to 12 the whole month of April. But it's still, if you live in the county, you still get charged. We don't actually have a free day or nothing like that.
Is there gonna be a free tire day?
They are doing the tire amnesty thing, the county does, and I'm not sure on the specifics of it. But it is, I think, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday of this week. Because they're doing it at the transfer station too, because we give them a spot to put the tires and stuff and all that, so. I think they have a limit on the tires now and different things, but it's the one that they do every year, not the state amnesty. They done it last year, I believe.
Yeah. I mean, I've got tires I need to bring in, is the reason why I said that.
Yeah, and I'm not sure.
Take them out Clayton's, throw them in the yard.
Yeah. Automobile tires, I don't think it's like.
I got a field behind the
Yeah,
house, I'll
there's
just
a
roll them
certain
down.
size.
Yeah, and but we'll be open every Saturday this month from 8 to 12, and the first Saturday of the month, of each month till October.
Could we push that out on social media, Wes, and make sure people know about it?
Yeah, I talked to him before the meeting just to verify that I had all the dates and times right on the slides that I had. I'll get those out on Channel 2 and
Okay.
on Facebook
Good deal.
in the morning.
Okay.
If y'all can make it this Saturday, it'd be great.
Wesley, why don't you talk a little bit about the little changes on the square that possibly coming happening with
Well,
the,
as far as the shrubbery and
Yeah.
stuff around the square, unfortunately, since we had such a bad winter, every shrub on the square died this year, except the little ones in the boxes. For some reason, they made it. The rest of them did succumb to the weather.
in the black boxes?
Yeah.
They're fake.
They're fake.
They're fake.
No, they've been
why
replanted.
they made it.
replanted them. I know when they
Yeah.
originally put them
When
in.
we bought them, they were fake.
Yeah, they used to be fake, but they're real now. Yeah, they're real now.
I hope not. I've had guys water them all.
Yeah, they were bought fake.
Yeah.
They faded out and everything, so they ended up putting real ones in. And,
Gotcha.
They actually, I believe, all of them made it somehow. But there's a lot of areas that we're gonna be tearing all the shrubs out, and some of the trees are gonna have to come out, different things. So once Pine View gets me some numbers together on what it's gonna cost to replace all that, then I'll kind of let y'all know too, and see where we're at. But we're gonna probably start the next week or two, because we wanna get it done for prom and
Yeah.
Fiddler Festival, and the concerts start here before long too.
Yeah.
There's gonna be a bunch of them, so.
Are there any Bradford pears on the square? What is that one on
They
this
used to have, but I think
southwest
they
side? One
broke down.
It's not a Bradford, it's a type of pear.
Okay.
It's the great big one on the corner.
Yeah.
And we also looked at it that, it's breaking the flower box out
Yeah.
where it's gotten so big. And, we'd like to be able to take that down and
Yeah.
put a tree that matches the rest of them
Right.
and don't get all big and,
Yeah.
it kind of stays close together. But
Okay.
whenever we get all this figured out, then I'll let y'all know, present you something on what we'd like to do.
Yeah.
But the dead stuff's getting ready to come out.
Yeah.
So, and I think we're gonna even take out the Japanese maples in the corner. They've just gotten out of hand. If you trim them now, there's just no way of actually trimming them back off the sidewalk.
Yeah.
But,
On that old A&B hardware side there, they're out of hand, aren't they?
yeah, so
Yeah.
once we get it all ripped out and everything, you'll see a lot of changes coming up there. Hopefully make it look,
Yeah.
back a lot better.
Yeah. We do have a lot going on up there.
They've been there for years, though.
Yes.
Several years. Them trees.
I still don't see where they're watering them fake flowers.
To kind of piggyback off West, that's happened out here. There's several of our shrubs that did not make it through that cold spell that we're probably gonna have to
Every one in
to
my yard.
replace, so.
That tree on the square blocks up all the drains
Yes, it
from
does.
the leaves in the fall.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, you know, and that's something that we could consider, like I said, it started out very the flower box and, you know, all those businesses across through there, most of them have a basement that's laid up out of sandstone, you know, old time, and those roofs have gotta be getting close to those too, and, you know, it's just gonna be more damage from here on out. So, you know, we wanna try to prevent anything, and, you know, I think it would look nice too, you know, get everything kind of matched.
Get them uniform.
Yeah.
So,
But, you know, hopefully in the next week or so, you'll see us up there doing that, and I'll get some numbers together too.
We gonna put more petunias up there? Petunias?
Yeah,
Good. That always looks good when we get those planted.
yeah, the ones up north and south side.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
we want to do the east and west the same way,
Okay.
and that way those four kind of match.
Yeah.
And, you know, we've got to redo them each year, but,
Yeah.
you know, some of the things we'll still get to keep. You know, the
Yeah.
lucky grass, they didn't kill all of it. Some of the, you know, shrubs and stuff we'll get to use again, but
Yeah.
the majority of it's gonna have to come out.
Yeah.
So, hopefully.
yeah, he does them a couple times a year, don't he? When,
Yeah.
I mean, plant change as far as what gets hardy through the fall versus
Yeah, and
what he has
they're
there
very
in spring and
colorful.
summer.
You know, they look good, they're very colorful and
Yeah.
everything, and it's not just green shrubs.
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
it kind of brightens everything up, so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You talk to him about doing a trade up for those Japanese places?
And we could get that, we didn't talk about that, but a couple of months ago, we should be doing that, I think, so, I mean, we're gonna try to be as gentle as we can, get them out, but, you know, they're.
Yeah.
they're Very
Trade
good,
plan and trade out some of the water for the new shrubs.
but that's all I have, as far as that. Just any of y'all can make it out next Saturday. Great.
Okay. Chief? Good?
Nothing, I'm good.
Tyler? Good to go? Okay, I'll entertain a motion. Oh,
I've got one question. On the sewer, we talk about the sewer lines and stuff, and putting all those in, won't we have to expand the sewer plant to do that?
I think there are,
I've heard them say they're pretty close to capacity on the sewer plant, and they're
Yeah.
looking at,
yeah,
they've got an engineer working on plans right now, I
Yeah.
think, so.
I think you'll hear.
But that's not anything, I mean, it took, the water plant was over 5 years in the making, so that's not anything that's gonna happen anytime quick.
Okay.
I talked with Dwight a few days, well, last week, week before last, because he was off last week, but he was thinking that you might be a couple of years at least before any ground was moved or, you know, at best, so I'm sure there'll be a long list of items to take care of on that, and especially the planning stages of it, because they're, and it won't be in the bargain aisle either when we
No.
have to do it, so.
No, it won't.
So, okay, next chamber luncheon is April 13th at noon. If you plan to attend, please let Lori know no later than April 10th. So, put me down, Lori.
I done got you down.
All right.
I don't know.
Gina, you think you
Speak
want?
now or forever hold your peace?
No, I have a work meeting.
Okay. Judy?
Yeah, I've already got it.
Okay. Terry?
I gotta work.
You got work? Billy?
I'll be in town,
He's going on vacation.
vacation.
Okay, well, if nothing else, I'll
I
make a
make a
motion to
motion.
adjourn. Clayton, second.
Second.
Second by Tootie, all in favor?